Is it okay if I have a beer or a glass of wine in the privacy of my own home? Well, it's not a sin to drink alcohol as long as I don't get drunk, right? Well, what about Paul telling Timothy to drink a little wine for his stomach's sake? Therefore, it must be okay to drink a little bit, right? How many times have we all heard statements like these or questions about these matters come up? It's possible that we might have even asked these questions ourselves. Well, the answer to all of these questions is an emphatic no. In Romans the 14th chapter in verse 13, the Apostle Paul said, "Let us not therefore judge one another any more, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. If for no other reason but this one, social drinking is a sin." If you were to come into my home and see a beer or a bottle of wine in my refrigerator, then what would it cause you to think? In verse 21, Paul said, "It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak." If we know that we should be setting a good example and we don't, then what is it? James said in James 4 and verse 17, "Therefore to him that knoweth to do good, and doeth it not, to him it is sin." In Ephesians 5 and verse 18, Paul writes, "And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit." To be drunk with wine is derived from the Greek verbiage meaning to intoxicate, or the process of becoming drunken. When a person takes a drink of alcohol, he has already become intoxicated. Certainly everyone has a different tolerance level, and the blood alcohol level will vary, but yet the fact remains that after one drink, a person begins to get drunken. Now, as for the word excess, notice 1 Peter 4 and verse 4 and apply the same logic as many do to our text. In this passage it says, "Wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you." It's the same logic that we see used in Ephesians 5 and verse 18. Well, certainly it would be okay to riot a little bit as long as we don't riot a lot. 2 Peter 2 and verse 13 states that those who riot will receive the reward of unrighteousness. Well, does it matter if it's just a little controlled, a little bit of social rioting, or if it's an excess of such? No, the degree does not matter. It's just as sinful regardless of the amount. Well, Paul wrote to Timothy in 1 Timothy 5 and verse 23 to drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake and thine often infirmities. Now, many have tried to use this verse through the years in an attempt to justify alcohol as a beverage. But it does no such thing. In fact, it does quite the opposite. Timothy refrained from drinking wine and strong drink altogether, even when he was sick. And this, no doubt, was done in order to set a good Christian example, done as a sign of Christian purity. But whenever we consider even the medicinal effect of it, we have made so many great advances in the medical field since the first century. And if I was to go to a doctor who told me, "Oh, just drink a little bit of wine," then I would probably get a second opinion. Very strong words in this matter are found in Proverbs 20 and verse 1, where Solomon states that wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Proverbs 14 and verse 16 tells us, "A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident." Those who are wise will avoid wine and strong drink. And to know what happens to the foolish, we need only read what Jesus has to say in Matthew 25 verses 1 through 13. In Psalm 75 and verse 8, the psalmist says, "For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out, and drink them. So what shall be of those who partake of that which the Lord himself has discarded? It will be sin on their part. Dear friends, I encourage you to vote no to the manufacture and sale of alcohol in Randolph County. Thank you.